we had a familiar friend who we haven't heard from in a long time pop up in the news earlier today. Oh my God. And at first, I'll admit,
I'm gonna tell you what it was like before we reveal. Before ever, like, did your mom, when you were growing up, used to make something like her special recipe, cinnamon cookies or whatever, right? And like, and whenever she made them, the house would fill with that scent. And it's like the scent of the happiness of your childhood. And then you leave home, you grow up, you go to college, you get a job, you live in another state, whatever. But then you come home like one Thanksgiving. And when you come in from the airport, Mom, Dad, I'm home. And you walk in the house, you smell that familiar scent. It's like,
it just brings it back. Brings it back.
That's exactly I'll admit what I felt like.
I saw Lavar on an IG post with words next to it, and I'll fully admit, I know Amin's not going to like this reaction. At first, I thought, "Oh God, now what?" Because I just haven't heard from him in a long time. And then I read the quote, and I just got so happy. I mean, would you like to read what Lavar is on the record saying?
I would love to, and I want to point out before I read this quote that Lavar, life was better when he was around. Life was like, I know y'all want to fight this and like, oh, he's awful. Like, nope. Everything seemed simpler and easier, and we didn't have as many problems. This is the Lavar Ball quote.
You think him not being around is what caused the pandemic?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know he said he thinks him not being around is why his kids keep getting hurt. This is on why Lonzo and LaMelo keep getting injured. The reason they hurt is because they got away from me. They started doing these Roody-Poo workouts. Because if you keep running them hills, you're going to keep that power and that strength. A lot of things have to do with them raggedy shoes that Melo be wearing. Them shoes the right way for him. That's why he keep tweaking his ankle every single time.
You had Rudy Toot. I have Roody-Poo.
I saw Rudy Toot.
See, this is why these infographics are not good. Even if we had the exact correct transcription. Even if we had the right transcription, it loses the magic of hearing this man's words. This is absolutely, what do you guys don't miss this, man? You tell me this did not give you nostalgia in your heart of like, oh shit, remember when LaVar Ball was on First Take and Sports Nation and every show every other day? What a time, man.
So, look, Lavar is Lavar, and he's uncontrollable. I can't imagine Puma loves this. His shoe, like LaMelo's shoes.
Roody-Poo could mean anything.
Wait, he's not involved. They can't do anything about it.
No, I agree, but LaMelo is Puma's biggest star, biggest signing. He's got a signature shoe.
Dominating much lately? Perhaps not.
Well, I mean, once he got a mattress, sure. But this is, LaMelo's shoes got a little friendly fire from Anthony Edwards when he was promoting his new shoe, right?
I got the Puma athletes here for you. Okay. LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Skylar Diggins.
Okay.
Might be bigger. RJ Barrett. No. Kyle Kuzma.
No.
Brianna.
No, but open to it.
Okay. DeAndre Ayton, we mentioned before.
Dominating, no.
Danny Green.
What? He still playing? What? Is he on a roster?
Hold on. Marcus Smart.
I figured out why he's hurt.
DeMarcus Cousins.
He's playing in Taiwan. He's on like 10 days in Taiwan.
Walt Frazier.
Walt Frazier?
Okay. Now you got a squad.
The Clyde?
Marvin Bagley III.
Oh, boy. I mean, a couple of Wizards cutting it up, him and Kuz. Do you remember that Bagley's on the Wizards? He is.
I learned that earlier this week when I was talking about how depressing Pistons.
Yeah. Look, there's a part of me that was really bothered by Lavar, but I was hoping this would be an opening to like a comeback for Big Baller Brand. I thought this was going to be like a way to like throw some new shoes out there.
I'll be honest with you. I think Big Baller Brand was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
He flew too close to the sun. Look, he was so much better just showing up on talk shows and swearing that his kids were better than everybody else. Like that's his sweet spot.
I would say doing shoes for Big Baller Brand was the beginning, because I think like just t-shirts and hats and everything that nobody was getting when they ordered them. I think that was actually a good thing. Once he tried to do the shoes and that was a flop, I agree. That was the beginning of the end. But yeah, he would go on talk shows and just tell you that Lonzo's better than Steph, you know?
Yeah.
People are bringing up like, you averaged 2 points at Washington State. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah. You say he could beat Michael Jordan one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one.
Here's the end of the article, all right? Let me read this to you. Lavar looks dumbfounded, or maybe like he's just talking to someone dumb, when asked if he's ever had a single moment of doubt or worry about the future of his sons. No, never. Not once, not once. Why? Because if I die tomorrow, my boy's going to be all right.
What?
I mean, he's got
about LiAngelo? Didn't worry about LiAngelo?
I don't understand about, they ask about the future of his sons, and then he says if he dies.
Welcome to the OG show here on Count the Dings. That was a cold open, man.
I thought that was the end of the podcast. I was going off of Bill Ryder's stuff.
No. I'm Zach Harper. That's Anthony Mays. It's Amin El-Hassan. No Woz today. No Zosny edition. We'll just do a Cinefosny edition.
Right? Why are you still throwing the Osney in there?
Cinefonzi. Hey.
Zamin ElHarper.
I don't like that. Actually, Zamin ElHarper, not bad. Not bad at all.
Look at that quick turnaround right there.
I don't mind that.
Starts for Dayton. Is like led that whatever conference they play in, and like field goal percentage.
Just a monster of the MAC. Yeah. We've got a good episode here. Obviously, just talked about Lavar Ball. We'll talk about some ownership battles in the NBA. Everyone loves that. We'll do some underdog fantasy bets and the Patreon edition, patreon.com/countthedings. We will talk about Joel Embiid's return and about Doc Rivers' latest comments that are just throwing literally everybody in the organization under the bus. But Amin, I want to start off with the ownership battles. We have
where it's all everywhere.
Let's start in Minneapolis. Let's start in Minneapolis. Okay. We have A-Rod and Marc Lore against Glen Taylor. And it, apparently it's beyond just they didn't make payments. There's a story from The Athletic from Shams Charania and John Krasinski about a sticking point seemed to be an owner's suite down the hall from the locker room in the Target Center that A-Rod and Lore wanted to, do pregame stuff and meetings and have food and all this stuff. And Glen Taylor, God damn it, is a man of the people. How many times I saw him in the goddamn media room eating with commoners? Yes, all the time. All the time. Right?
That wasn't just lip service. He actually,
I saw that. I saw that so many times. Yeah. Like almost every game, I would see Glen Taylor, and then anytime Andre Miller's team was on the road, I would see Andre Miller come in and raid the media dining to save that per diem, because that dude is a veteran ass point guard.
And Glen Taylor is a veteran ass owner.
He sure is. And so this is a sticking point where Glen Taylor's like, I thought it was kind of gaudy. I didn't think it was right. And A-Rod said, that's what a teenager would say. That was his response to those comments by Glen Taylor. Is like, not an astute person, not someone who's great at business. That's what a teenager would say. I mean, I guess we're going to have to wait for the NBA to tell us if this process is over. Who owns the team?
So let me tell you, I've been doing some reporting.
Ooh.
I've been out here in these NBA streets talking to people.
Arizona State education and off.
Yeah,
not the Georgia Tech one.
Not the Georgia Tech part. No, that part didn't pay off at all. So this is what I've heard overwhelmingly. And all of this is just people's opinion. No one's giving me like, hey, this is what I heard. It's like, this is what it feels like. Everyone thinks that Glen Taylor was pulling an okie doke on these guys from the beginning. That he never intended to sell the team. That there's a reason he picked them, because they are the type of slapdicks to do slapdick stuff. That at every step of the way, when they were late on payments, he was making extensions for them. because he was getting that cash infusion into his business, knowing that they would probably fuck up towards the end. And when they did, he would point to the whatever document and be like, oh yeah, you were late. So this thing is all null and void. I'm pulling out. And so this is all like a clever ruse. I heard it once and I was like, I don't think so. I heard it again. I was like, really? And I heard it like a third time. I'm like, okay. It seems like everyone kind of thinks that's what happened here.
Let me say this.
I'm not completely against this, but that would imply that Glen Taylor is a Machiavellian mastermind.
Look, man, hold on.
To prove that point. So Zach just told us about this owner's suite that he was completely opposed to. And was like, why? Ew, da-da-da. And A-Rod said that's a teenager's response. And then once he kind of canceled the sale, he began to occupy the owner's suite and told A-Rod and Marc Lore, you can't use this. This is limited majority owners.
Yep, yeah. You're limited partners. He banned them from it.
You tell me that ain't Machiavellian.
Yeah, that sounds petty.
Well,
I mean Machiavelli is kind of petty, right? Like,
I think that Lore and A-Rod very clearly forgot to read the fine print of the contract, which said no take backsies. And
I did say that, yeah.
Now he is taking it back, and tough titties.
I've heard similar stuff to what it means, saying. I've heard similar stuff where people are like, yo, this might have been. I don't know. I don't know if it was from the start necessarily. I haven't heard that.
That's where I'm
at a certain point. At a certain point last year, he was just like, all right, like I'm going to take this cash, and there's no way they're going to complete this deal. There's just no way.
Hey, and he was right.
And so now I guess we got to wait for the NBA to tell us who owns the team.
Plus, A-Rod and Lore are saying that they're contending for the number 1 seed. This is the best the team has been in forever. Yeah. They're winning.
Literally 20 years. Yeah.
And nothing will disrupt team chemistry like a power struggle in a locked owner box.
Here's the thing is the Wolves have never had good ownership, right? So it's not like this is like, they're going to be like, oh, I don't know what to do here. You know, okay. the Wolves have never like.
He's been their only owner, right? Or did he buy
since '94? Since '94, he saved the team.
That's right.
They were going to move to New Orleans in '94,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and he saved the team, and then fucked them up for 25 years. So,
well, I mean, to be fair, it's not like they were pristine condition when he bought them.
No, for sure. But also, you wasted one of the 20 best players ever, one of the 25 best players ever. Wasted his career. Obviously, I'm talking about Wally Szczerbiak. This does make me wonder if Glen Taylor is immortal. He's 82.
Dog, I'm gonna tell you
he's planning because he started. It was about 10 or 11 years ago. He started to sell the team. He was like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to sell the team." And then at a certain point, was like, "Yeah, fuck this," and he just started buying up more minority ownership stake to get more and more of the team. Like he's kind of. I feel like he kind of gets off on this where he's like, I'm going to sell the team, and then just gets more and more money and power.
I'm going to tell you how I know he's immortal. Because when the Joe Smith shit happened, the reason why, so Joe Smith, for those that don't know, 5 years ago, whatever, Joe Smith was his that is immortality right there.
Yes.
Because everyone thinks immortality means you get to look young and good looking the rest of your life. No, it looks like that. But that's what immortality looks like. So Joe Smith was this, like an okay player. He was a former number 1 overall pick, but then very quickly we realized he's just kind of an okay player. And so he had a good year with Minnesota and they really liked him. And so they signed him to an under the table contract, basically saying, hey, when your deal expires, we're going to give you this massive deal. And the reason why they got caught offering him an under the table deal in the future was actually had it in writing. So you might say, why the fuck would you have something like that in writing? Just have an understanding. Like, okay, as soon as it's over, you take care of me. The reason they had it in writing was because Joe Smith's representatives were worried that Glen Taylor would die and the next person would not honor the deal. But they demanded having it in writing. The contract leaks. The league finds out David Stern does the David Stern thing, which was, I believe, originally he took away like 5 first-round picks.
5 first, he gave 1 back.
He ended up giving 1 or 2 back.
One back, and it was Nadubi-Ebe. So it really still, they lost all 5.
Well worth it.
So he took away 5 first-round picks and suspended the exec at the time was Kevin McHale for a year, could not have contact with the team, and suspended Glen Taylor for a year, which up until Donald Sterling was the harshest punishment ever levied against an owner in the history of the NBA, right? Again, pour out a little liquor for David Stern. Miss you, buddy. But this is immortality, ladies and gentlemen. That they had to have it in writing because they thought he was going to die. And here he is.
That was 25 years ago.
That's insane.
25 years ago. He's still alive.
Still alive.
And still dicking people over.
Still screwing them over. That's not our only ownership battle,
There's
guys.
more?
We've got a battle of allegedly predatory home lenders, right? Like, this is the mortgage business is very lucrative for anyone who's not someone buying a house.
It's the most upright, proper business there is. They're just helping people get homes, Zach.
And 2 of the best at it, Matt Ishbia, owner of the Suns, and Dan Gilbert, owner of the Cavs, Rocket Mortgage. And then what's the name of
UWM?
UWM. That's right. Which, I mean, God, there's so much here. So there was an article from Baxter Holmes about this. There was some work from Sam Koppelman of Hunter Book Media that he was on Pablo Torre Finds Out talking about this. And guys, like this issue, this is the first we've ever heard of this kind of stuff, right? No one a year ago talked about it or anything, right? Am I right on this? Like, this is the first we're hearing of this?
No, of the beef between them.
Yeah.
No. Talked about since the moment he owned the team.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anyone that would have talked
everywhere.
About this.
Where did you hear about
everywhere? That? Everywhere. Every person did it. Every single person did it. He did it.
Maze, let me tee you up.
Yeah, this isn't working.
Maze, I don't know.
Time out. Hold on, time out. I'm sorry. I realize what you're doing now. Okay, tee me up again.
All right. I don't know anyone that would have talked about this within the last year or so. You know, Matt Ishbia has been around for a little over a year, right?
Like, I don't think between the 2 of them. You mean?
Yeah, between Gilbert and Ishbia. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could call it whispers if they learn how to whisper in a helicopter.
Did anybody talk about this?
I mean, other than Matt,
is he still not getting this?
Did anybody on this fucking show maybe have a show called
podcast about it?
Oh, it's
God damn it!
Oh, okay.
Basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati, basketball Illuminati. Say it 3 times. Keep your fucking third eye and both ears open.
I'll be honest with you.
Covered this in detail.
I'll be honest with you. When you said this show, I was like, this show wasn't around when that shit happened.
Okay, so Matt Ishbia took over the team, and we looked into it a lot. They both went to Michigan State, him and Dan Gilbert. They both own mortgage companies. They have mad beef. And so I thought it was weird that we get this huge Baxter piece. We get Hunter Brook Media guy, Sam Koppelman on Pablo's show, and they're both talking about this. I'm like, what is this? Did something happen? Has there been a development? The only thing that I can come up with is that they're playing tonight.
On ESPN.
Cavs and Suns are playing. So they've been sitting on these pieces, and it's time to empty the books.
Let me explain to you guys. There's 2 different things happening here. One of them is Cavs and Suns are playing on ESPN. Guys, what kind of tie-in can we have here? Oh, those guys don't like each other. Cool. Baxter writes a story about they don't like each other, which, as we've all established, is not a secret. Been talked about. Even Matt Ishbia went on Bill Simmons' podcast and talked about it. Like, it's out there. What Hunter Brook Media did and what Pablo did in interviewing that and adding some reporting of his own was look into the state of Matt Ishbia's business, his actual business, not the Suns, but United Wholesale Mortgage, and how they made and how they became the number one mortgage originator in the country, overtaking Dan Gilbert's Rocket Mortgage. And so that is a lot more in-depth and a lot more sorted, I would say, than just, these guys don't like each other. Like, it's like shit where this is Hunter Brook Media's report. Basically, what UWM did was go to all of these independent mortgage brokers around the nation and said, you should send us all your business, because independent mortgage brokers are supposed to, you go to them and they say, okay, I'm going to find the best mortgage for you. And I'm going to go to all these different lenders and find the best one for you with the best terms or whatever, and give that to you. And now you didn't have to do any of the legwork. I did the legwork for you.
Yeah.
What Ishbia has been able to do is convince all these independent mortgage brokers to not look for the best deal. Just send them right to the UWM.
Well, two of the things that I found interesting from that conversation with Sam and Pablo was, one, I think to your point, they were, I want to say, I might have the numbers wrong here, but I think he said like there are like 11,000 people that they go through in terms of shopping this stuff around, or potential people that they can go through, and less than 500 of them. He said, like, if you're going to work with Dan, you're not going to work with us.
Yeah.
And
so,
like less than 500 with them still stuck with Dan Gilbert's company, Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah. Less than 500 stuck with Rocket. Also, of that did not, they send 99% of their business to UWM, regardless of whether it's a good deal or not.
And then the other thing is, between years, the mission statement at like this conference or summit or whatever for UWM was, it went from we find the best deal for people to we find the best solution for people, which means they're not looking for the best deal. They're just saying, that's probably what you can do. That's it.
And so again, this is all according to the reporting by Hunter Brook Media, by Sam, what's Sam's last name? Koppelman, right? Yeah. And what Pablo did was just look a little bit further into things like who's on their board of directors. Isaiah Thomas is on there. Isaiah Thomas is listed as an independent director. We know that he was listed as an independent director, but that would seem to be almost impossible given his relationship with Matt Ishbia. And that was amended over the last year or so to not independent. So there's just a lot going on there. But the biggest thing I thought I took away from watching the interview is that Koppelman talked about, this is a guy who's written books with Eric Holder, the former Attorney General of the United States, and a bunch of other lawyer type people. He asked them, what do you think of like UWM's business practices? And the impression that he gave based on his conversations with these lawyers is that they are certainly skirting, if not flaunting, a lot of the regulations and code that was written after the housing crisis in 2008. So he kind of extrapolates that to say, well, if this business UWM is involved in so much unscrupulous activity, how long before kind of the business collapse? And if the business collapse, does that and him not being able to hold on to the Phoenix Suns? Again, this is the words of Sam Koppelman of Hunter Brook Media. The big takeaway,
was this leaked voicemail from Matt Ishbia talking about that I believe, Maze, you have for us.
Hey, buddy, hope you're doing good. Just want to say I love you. We fucking took those cocksuckers down. Fuck them. And we're going to keep fucking sticking it to them forever. Fuck those guys. We're number one. We kick the shit out of them. Brokers are number one. UWM's number one. You're number one. We're all number one together. And fuck them. I fucking hate them with all my heart. And we're going to keep kicking their ass every fucking day. That's why I was here fucking at 4 a.m. again today. I don't give a fuck. We're going to keep kicking ass. And so, love you, man. We talked about it. We wait for rates to go up. I'm going to win. You're going to win. Both are happening right now. Keep hiring, keep building, keep growing. Let's fucking go.
You know what my favorite line in that is? I don't give a fuck. At 4 a.m., I don't give a fuck. Because in my mind, immediately what I thought of was beautiful woman in bed. Like she starts stirring and reaching over. The bed's empty. She kind of opens her eyes and she sees Matt and he's got his tie on and he got his suit on. And babe, where are you going? Going to work. And she looks at her phone like, babe, it's only 4 o'clock. He's like, I don't give a fuck. And he just fucking struts.
I need to hang Dan Gilbert's nuts on my fucking wall as a trophy.
Yeah. I also need,
he didn't call you a giant. Your cocksucker.
Cocksucker. Yeah. I also would love it if someone could just put that audio over the video on a loop of Matt Ishbia flopping against Jokic in the playoffs last year. Because I don't go fuck.
I was here at 4 a.m. sitting in this seat, the arena. My
Man,
favorite part of this, real quick, is that Dan Gilbert is trying to big time him here and act like he's above this. They live 15 minutes apart in Detroit suburb, and his CCO from Rocket Mortgages told ESPN they have never met. From Dan's perspective, there is no rivalry.
Also, when the owners were voting on whether or not Ishbia could be the owner of the Suns and do the sale, everyone voted yes, except for Dan Gilbert, who abstained.
So that was the weird thing about that part. Now, I'm gonna push back on one part of the reporting. They said the vote was 29-0, but there are 30 owners. Oh, because Dan Gilbert abstained. But my question is, why would the Suns have a vote? Wouldn't it be?
Do they just 29? Count it as like, since they're making the sale, they're clearly voting?
Maybe Starver voted.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
His final act.
Yeah.
I approve my successor.
What if he knew like this guy's business is gonna collapse? I'm gonna come crawling back and buy it for pennies on the dollar.
Pennies on the dollar. Dilapidated.
Glen Taylor just like predator dapping it up.
Oh my God, absolutely. He's like, Glenn, you're never gonna die. You're with me on this, right? Vote yes. You're gonna do this. Maze, what do we have for Underdog?
UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code DING, DING, or in the Underdog Fantasy app. So I don't know if you know this, Amin, but Zion Williamson has been eaten. Last 5 games, 29.6 points, 61% from the field, 13.4 free throw attempts without Brandon Ingram. He only had 20 against Orlando the last time they played on the road, but he's got home cooking for the revenge game tonight. That's right. That's 2 food references. I'm taking Zion higher than 26.5 points. Now, to the Gilbert versus Ishbia, the Mortgage Bowl, Cavs at Suns. Bradley Beal's last 7 games, 34 minutes, 10.7 points. That's not good.
No.
Even though he's hitting his shots, it's not like he's cold. He's 45% from the field, 48% from 3. But I'm taking lower than 16.5 points for Bradley Beal.
Ooh.
I don't think he's doing it.
All right.
Finally, Jared Allen hasn't had higher than 1 combined block and steal in his last 8 games. That is Evan Mobley's department. I am going lower on 1.5 blocks and steals for Jared Allen. That is your Underdog Fantasy
combination
of the day.
I gotta say, I hate when people call blocks and steals stocks.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that.
You prefer wheels?
Stop it. All right.
Just say blocks and steals. That's
Bradley Beals.
Yep. There it is.
You want to hear us talk about Joel Embiid's return to the court Tuesday night and Doc Rivers. Incredible comments. Yeah.
I used to say, sign up for the Patreon, patreon.com/countthings. Get all this extra content. You need this shit, man. You need this shit. I'm going to say it right now. Fucking just sign up and then cancel as soon as you're done listening to it.
Whoa. No. Sign up forever.
I hope you stay, but I would understand.
At least for this time, yes.
At least for this, yes.
It's worth it. Welcome to the Patreon portion of the OG Wosny Edition podcast. It is me, it is Amin, it is Maze, and we're talking hoops. Guys, we're talking a couple of things. Let's start off with the positive stuff from Tuesday night. Joel Embiid's back.
He's back. Yay!
He looked
USA.
He looked like he was going to throw up. He looked very gassed, but he had a pretty good game considering, right? 24 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds, 6 turnovers. They won.
It was a must win. And they were playing against a tough opponent, missing 2 of their best players. But hey, man,
their 2 best players.
Tis the season.
But no Tyrese Maxey, right? No Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah, there you go. We're missing one of our best players. There we go. It all evens out. And we had just played, and for Philly, we had just played how many weeks without our best player? So
how many weeks?
It all evens out. How many?
Yeah. So what? Do they have the easiest schedule the rest of the way? They've got one game against Miami. They got one game against Orlando. And then a bunch of the tanking bums. You'll be at that game, yeah. Then a bunch of the tanking bums the rest of the way. They're at home the final week of the season, so there's no travel for Embiid. I think they have one back-to-back with the Orlando-Miami games this weekend.
Yes.
But, I mean, like, do you think this matters for the Sixers beyond, or not even beyond this season, for this season? Let me just say for this. Like, can they get up to the 6? Can they make noise in the playoffs? Can they do any of that stuff?
To Toronto for the live show? Is that what you're wondering if they can get?
Yes, I'm wondering if they can get. Will they be at Soho House? That's what I want to know.
They might. You know what? You never know. Zach, we talked to Keith Pompey, who is the ultimate source on the Sixers. He covers them for the Philadelphia Inquirer. And we asked him straight up, like, what do you think the chances are of the Sixers having a magical run and Embiid fielding? And he said he doesn't believe that's the case. He thinks that Embiid's coming back because his real plan is to play in the Olympics. He wants to be available for the Summer Olympics in Paris, but
for
he knows
what country?
For Team USA. That's what
USA. Quack.
No.
We're not doing
that? The soundboard?
No.
You don't have the soundboard already?
No. Unless you better put that drunk Bombay whistle coming into the arena in the third period. That's the one we need if you want to start chanting USA.
So, but he realizes if I do that and I don't play for Philly, then I'm going to get roasted by the local media, by the fans. Everyone's going to be questioning my commitment. So he does this to do the show. Like when you go to a party you didn't want to go to, someone's house party, you say what's up to everybody, and then you leave to go to the actual thing you wanted to do it because you say, oh, I was there. So-and-so saw me and so-and-so saw me. Yeah. Yep.
Take a
pic. The reality is to come to this party. You're trying to go to that other party down the street, actually in France. So that's why he's doing it. Given what Keith Pompey told us, and that I would have to say that no, I don't think they can make noise. I don't think they can get up to the 6.
I also, I didn't think before the injury they were going to have a deep playoff run, even as well as he was playing. At no point did I think the Sixers team, they got a chance. No, he's been mediocre in the playoffs before by his standards. I've said he's had 2 great series in his playoff career. One was against the Wizards. One was against the Hawks. He lost the Hawks one, right? But those are everything else. It's been kind of mediocre. He's been banged up. His face is broken. His knee hurts. His tummy hurts. Whatever, right?
Come on, that's not.
He's got bubble guts. What? We talked we did this. We did this with Giannis.
Is that he gets hurt. Your criticism is he gets hurt.
He had bubble guts one time. That's not hurt. That's your diet. You're the problem.
Is that on the injury report?
Yeah, DNP bubble guts.
BBG. Let's keep it low profile. But I've looked at his stats before. He's one of the few superstars who gets worse pretty much across the board in the playoffs. It's like you said, usually because he does have a lot of miles on him by that point, and he's coming into the playoffs and he's worn down and he's pushing through it and he's trying to drag Ben Simmons or whoever, James Harden, through a long playoff run. I mean, I hope that he plays this end of the season, gets himself in playing shape, and then he's maybe feeling a little rejuvenated. There's a little less wear and tear on the body. He's had time to. Yes, that's what's really important, USA. But in the meantime, I don't know if it's a 6 versus 3 seed and it's the Cavs or the Knicks. You don't think that could at least be an interesting first round?
I mean, I just don't think the Sixers team's very good. They're playing campaign.
They're already thinking about getting Paul George in the offseason.
Right. They're like, well, we had James Harden already. Let's get another playoff. He has to be great, but even if he is, maybe they can beat the Cavs. They're not beating the Bucks in the second round. They're definitely, if they get the 8, they're not beating the Celtics. That's not happening. I don't think they could beat the Knicks if that was the 3-6 matchup. I just don't see it. I don't think that team is good enough. I think Maxi's still, one, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, so he's still trying to figure out his place with it. They got to build chemistry back up. They only have a week and a half to do it. Maybe they get some time in the play-in tournament to get some extra reps, but I mean, that's just not enough time to get to a better level of play. I don't even know if that's enough time for him to get in true shape.
Yeah, I disagree with you saying you didn't think they were going to do anything. Unless anything you mean is win the conference. I don't believe they were going to do that either. But I think they could have won a playoff round. I think they could have won 2 playoff rounds, depending on who they're playing against in the second round, if they were healthy. But that's not the case. And so right now, the glass half full version of this is they exist to make this interesting. Make Miami's chase to stay ahead of them and perhaps get up to the 6 interesting. Makes the play-in games interesting. You know, I'm assuming they're going to play Miami and lose in that first one if that's 7-8, and then they have to beat the winner of Atlanta, Chicago. So they're going to make this interesting. Yeah. Do I think they can beat the Celtics? Absolutely not. Even when healthy, I don't think they could have beat the Celtics because Celtics always have their number. Do I think they could have beaten the Bucks? Maybe. We'll get to them in a second, but that's with them being full strength. In this current condition, probably not. Do I think they could beat the Cavs? Again, especially now that they're hurt, yes, probably. The Knicks, no. The Magic, maybe yes, maybe no. The Heat, no. So I think if they were healthy, they would be a second round or a conference finalist at best. That's if I'm being totally fair.
I genuinely don't think they could get to the conference finals. They could absolutely get to the second round, especially as like the higher seed had they stay healthy. Absolutely, they get to the second round. But I don't think there's anything beyond that. But let's say they do get into a matchup in the first round with the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's say they win the 7, Bucks are the 2. All they have to really do is win 1 on the road because the Bucks have problems on the road. Just ask Doc Rivers, who's asked about their struggles. They lose to Washington.
Yeah, that's the lead. The lead is they lost to the Washington Wizards. No Damian Lillard.
No Damian Lillard. Yeah. They did have Giannis. They did have Middleton.
And Giannis played well. It wasn't just
Giannis was awesome.
He was just
because he played the Wizards.
It was awesome, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, they all played the Wizards.
Yeah, that's true.
Somehow only Giannis, it's not like Giannis played the Wizards and everyone else had to play the goddamn Nuggets or some shit. But the other part of this is, like, as you mentioned, the Bucks have had struggles on the road all season long, really, but definitely recently. They're 2 games under 500 on the road. And so, Zach, let's for smart guys, what could be some reasons why a team like that's so great at home and so awful on the road? I'll go first. Maybe, I don't know, maybe guys get homesick. They miss their families and don't see those familiar faces. Maybe hostile environments on the road. You know, like these crowds get really crazy and they say mean things. And
maybe they had bad travel, right? Like they just a lot of miles, late flights, delayed flights. You never know weather, right?
Weather conditions.
Wisconsin's got weather in the winter. Yeah. Could
Ever
be that.
since this DeAndre Ayton thing, I think we're all underrating the value of a good bed.
Yep.
That's true. It could be.
Better than the bed on the road.
Sleeping on the floor on a blow up mattress.
Doc Rivers gave a little theory.
Yeah.
So he was asked about their road struggles after the loss to the Wizards the other night, Tuesday night. This is what he said, quote, "I don't know. I think focus. I don't know what it is. You know, it's funny. I've actually been sitting back and watching everything. Not just our players, but our travel crew. Everything. And I've made a lot of notes. I will say that. I won't share that. But we don't bring the necessary professionalism, seriousness on the road. And that's something we can fix. And that's something we're going to have to fix."
This is such a rich paragraph. Can we slow it down and go bit by bit here?
Yes. Yeah. Let's do line by line. All right. Okay. I don't know. I think focus.
Great answer. You know what? He could have stopped right there. He could have stopped right there and it would have been fine. Like, I don't know if that's the real answer, but it's an answer that most people would accept.
I don't know what it is. You know what's funny? I've actually been sitting back and watching everything.
That's your job.
That's where it all falls off the rails, because I have now the Bucks on the road, like food fights and fires and stuff. And Doc is just like, huh. And just like, you know, like those videos on Instagram that are like amalgams of all these crazy people at the gym doing weird workouts. And it's just a guy like, And he's like this, and then he turns to the side and they play another clip, and he turns to making it seem like he's looking at all of this happen in front of him at his gym. That's what I have Doc Rivers doing. Like everyone's just doing crazy shit. He's like, he's just looking.
Reaction videos.
I've got just Giannis in a hotel, conference room for whatever morning meeting they've got, just seeing what foods he can dip in milk and have his mind be blown. And Doc is just sitting back like, this guy, you've been in the US for a long time, buddy. You can't keep doing this.
He's like Vince Vaughn in The Watch, like discovering another Russian nesting doll within the Russian nesting doll.
Yeah.
There's another one.
I've got him walking into the conference room, and Thanasis is actually already in there doing the game breakdown, the video breakdown for them. And he's like, what do you do? Because, I don't know if you've noticed, Thanasis has been coaching on the sidelines. He's been trying to coach him up.
I've got Thanasis wearing like tidy whities over his head with eye holes cut out.
Yeah.
And he's got like a staff. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Mike Dexter.
And he's got a staff. And on the top of the staff, there's another pair of tidy whities tied to it. And as soon as someone walks into the ballroom, he just tells them, come with me if you want to live. That's it.
I've got Bobby Portis chasing Pat Connaughton around with a pillowcase full of dirty laundry, just swinging around his head like a mace.
Next line, not just our players, but our travel crew, everything. And I've made a lot of notes. This is a meme. No. Watching the people in the background.
Those are two different things. Hold on. Not just our players, but our travel crew.
Stop right there. This is now the second time in the same season that the Milwaukee Bucks have blamed their equipment manager. Okay.
What the fuck is this equipment manager doing?
Nah, like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? Like the first time I was like, all right, Giannis, enough. Like the equipment manager, he does his job. He busts his ass. I know equipment managers. I see what they do. It's a thankless job. Stop fucking picking on equipment.
Seems awful.
Doc Rivers joined after that incident mid-season, and now here he is saying the same shit. And I'm like, okay, show me this equipment manager now. Like,
now, what would it sound like if Doc brought Blake Griffin in to correct things with it? Because remember, there was an equipment manager incident with Blake Griffin where he punched the guy, right? Yeah. And they were friends, but he punched the guy. He brings Blake in to punch this equipment manager for the Bucks. But people are mad at Blake Griffin. What does that sound like?
It sounds like this. Hey, look, it's not Blake's fault. It's not Blake's fault. I've been watching. I'm taking notes. And this guy's fucking around on the road. He's absolutely fucking around. You see Thanasis with tiny whiteys on his head, little eye slits. Guess who made it for him? Equipment manager. Sick of this shit.
We can't get Thanasis scissors.
No. You can't. Come on, man.
Too hazardous.
He's lucky he's got a microphone for a podcast. Okay. I'm not even certain it's plugged in.
Then we've had a lot of everything.
I've made a lot of notes. I've got to see these notes.
Analog or digital? Zach.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look.
No. Yep.
He's got a detective spiral notepad. He's scribbling bullshit in. It's actually like a prescription pad because he's a doctor.
Those buck slips. Yeah, just like putting it one over the other.
He tears it off and illegible handwriting.
I like the idea that he's taking these notes during the game. They're losing by 10. He's looking around. The equipment manager's jerking off. He's like, well, got to make note of that.
Always on the road. He never does it at home, though.
Never jerks off at home, but on the road. He's got a real fetish here. I will say that. I won't share that. Back-to-back sentences.
Stop there.
What are we doing?
I will say that I have notes. I will not share those notes.
No, that's two guys. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize. That's what that line is.
Incredible.
But we don't bring the necessary professionalism, seriousness on the road.
Huh.
Stop right there. What the fuck are they doing?
What are they doing different at home?
I've been on a million road trips.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to say, like, at road trips, I get sometimes guys are loose on the bus or whatever, but to say we're not bringing the necessary professionalism and focus on the road, it literally means like Doc sitting there, first guy who, the coach always sits in that first row on the bus. And it's one of those buses where you got to step up, like a tour bus. So the first guy who comes up tour bus hits Doc in the face with a cream pie, And then the next guy comes with one of those seltzer water guns. Yes. They're like, they high five each other, and then they start singing. Like,
flower on his lapel. He's like, "Hey, Doc, smell this flower." Boom, water squirt in his face.
And they're all wearing Marx Brother glasses.
Yeah,
Brooke Lopez got one of those hand buzzers.
This is after Robin Lopez is no longer on the team.
Yeah, they got rid
of Robin Lopez, and this is happening.
Chris Middleton offers him a stick of gum, and it snaps his finger. Like, ow! Like,
he says,
Doc, you real stressed. Here, have a cigar. He lights it up, explodes in his face.
He says, and that's something we can fix, and that's something we're going to have to fix. That just means I'm firing everybody, right? Which is not unusual. Like, coaches come in.
Equipment manager, for sure. Manager,
hey, update that LinkedIn,
buddy. Get your resume ready.
Adrian Griffin went 30-13. Doc is 15-14 since taking over the Bucks, and I'll remind you all that he tried to tell us. Okay.
Personally, I'll be honest. I told our owners when they called. I said, I think I don't understand why you're doing this. And they said, one of the things they said was, well, it doesn't matter. We've done it now, and we want you. And so that was a tough one. That's where you had the hesitation.
Was that a tough one?
Was it?
I know.
I'll take $40 million. For 2.5 seasons, I guess. I'm willing to do it. When he says, I don't understand why you're doing this, it's the exact same inflection you'd expect from someone saying, I'm leaving with the kids. We're going to get a divorce. Like, I can't. I don't understand why you're doing this. I don't get this.
No, he didn't.
I will say that. I won't share that.
He did it with the same inflection that, like, what I would imagine Rocky would have had in Rocky IV if Adrian said, I'm leaving with the kids. Like, I don't understand why you're doing this. Like, again, going back to our original thing, you show face. You say, hey, I was here. And just for appearances. Not necessarily because you're actually like, no, please don't leave. No, please don't fire Adrian. Don't hire me.
It will be so funny if they win the championship. I know they're not going to, but I actually want him to get fired and Joe Prunty to lead them to the championship. That's what I want. I want this for Joe Prunty.
Like now, now, this
get him out of there. Yeah, I want I want us to find out the equipment manager is like the owner's son, and Doc didn't know, and they've been hiding, and now
dating Mallory Edens, the equipment manager.
I was gonna ask, what do you think the circumstances would be necessary for Doc to be fired this season? Let's leave like Ime Udoka type shit on the side. Like,
right. Yeah.
Even he didn't get fired in the season.
I genuinely think it is round 1 of the playoffs. Maybe game 2, right? Not the most pivotal game, but round 2. They're playing Joel Embiid and the Sixers. They don't know where Doc Rivers is. They have no idea. Joel's just killing them. Joe Prunty's on the sideline just shrugging, doesn't know what to do. End of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, in comes Doc, drunk off his ass, blowing a duck whistle. And they're like, okay, you got to go.
Sure.
Joe Prunty says, change it up.
And Thanasis gets off the bench and goes, no, man.
Not you. Never you.
Not you. Never you.
Just not even with your underwear on your head.